Hi guys, it's Kata. So this is going to be my second video for my new series, which is, I think I'm going to call Witchy Wednesdays, just because I like the ring of that, and having a set day for uploads just kind of helps me feel more motivated to do this more regularly, because I kind of suck at that, but hopefully with the deadlines we can kind of get to chat more on here, so I think that'll be kind of fun. Anyways, so what I wanted to talk about today was kind of basics for getting started with Wicca or paganism or spirituality, mainly for setting up your physical space. So setting up your altar, setting up your little table of just where you want to keep all your stuff, or on a broader sense, how you could set up your room, I guess, to kind of tie in those elements. So the first thing I would say with an altar, it's not as hard as people think. So you don't need all the crazy tools and crazy things. So usually, at least with Wicca anyway, kind of things you would keep on your altar are tools like your athame, which is your ritual knife, your besom or broom. You could have things like offering bowls, incense holders. If you have a specific deity you worship, you could have their statue up there, or a picture of them, or just have fun with it, honestly. So something I kind of like is having different offering bowls for different purposes. So I find that I personally like to serve different deities, not just the one, which makes me pantheistic. So basically, I like to have a dedicated offering dish for everybody. So everybody gets to have a little of what they like. So basically, I have dishes for herbal offerings. I don't usually do fresh food offerings just because I'm very forgetful and it will go bad. But I do leave like candy, little wrapped candies. Leftover Halloween candy is actually great for that. I just put it in the offering dish and it'll sit there. That's theirs now. So, coins is another great thing. I don't really have my coin dish dedicated to a specific deity, but I do collect them all together. They sit with my little mandrake, which a mandrake, basically, if you leave coins by it, it's supposed to be a money multiplier. So I give him coins, and in theory, he turns it into more coins. And I just keep adding and adding and adding. And then when the dish is full, I usually take it down to one of my local metaphysical stores, which actually donates it to a shrine for the goddess Lakshmi. So that is where my spare change goes most of the time. just because for me it's nice. I can give to it, not necessarily a charity, but something I like, and my spare change is serving more of a purpose for me than just sitting in my purse or wherever. So you can pretty much dedicate these little bowls to whatever you want. It could be just for you, just to have, because it feels nice to have a little collection of things. You could do crystals, you could do herbs, you could do incense, you could do candy, you could do just about anything. And just have that on your altar. For if you do decide you want an altar cloth, that just can be anything. It could be a handkerchief. It could be an old bandana you found at a yard sale. It could be, a piece of fabric you found in a clearance bin somewhere. Some of my favorite altar cloths were actually found objects, secondhand. Sometimes it's fun to look in the bargain scraps bin at Michael's or wherever, kind of seasonally. That way you can find a seasonal fabric that goes with whatever holiday or Sabbath you are currently observing. My mother actually had a bunch of old fabrics, just because she loves to sew. She's always loved to sew, and I found a really cool Yule fabric, which was perfect, that I use for one of my altar cloths. I like to layer them and section them off, which I can show you guys in a second. So that's another fun thing you can do. Ask around, see who has spare fabric. Most of the time, if you have friends who like to sew, they have way too much fabric. And yeah, so that could be another good way. Thrift shopping is great. I'm always really into secondhand, just because if you can take something that was basically going to get thrown away for no reason and repurpose it into a nice little sacred treasure, it's a really nice way to kind of honor that thing, to me at least. I have an old rabbit pelt, which usually I don't like furs, but I actually found it secondhand when I was very little. My sister actually bought it for me because it freaked me out. And luckily I kept it, and all of these years later I found it, and it is one of my most favorite altar cloths. If you are into the spiritual value of furs but don't like the ethical heartache that kind of goes with that, there was a really cool seller on Etsy that actually essentially reclaims furs from estate sales, thrift stores, the trash, you name it. If it is unwanted and it is fur, she will find it and she will clean it up and resell it to you, which I think is really cool, because definitely in my religion, obviously everything has a soul, so to have an animal have died for something that people no longer want, it's just a little sad to me. So I like the idea that someone could take this fur that was something at some point and can give it a new home, which is actually really nice. I think I actually did end up getting a foxtail from her. Here it is. It's this really pretty foxtail, and it's got little black bits, and it's like this pretty champagne color, and I don't know why, but I just had to buy this at the time. But her name is Freya, and she sits with me in my little sacred tea corner over here, slash filming space. But yes, so this is Freya. We saved her from the trash. But yes, she's very soft. She does do other things too. It's essentially just what she finds, which is really nice. Unfortunately, unwanted furs is a really sustainable business, so she pretty much always has something to sell. Sometimes she'll just do little fabric scraps of like stuff she finds. It's really cool though. If I can find out what shop that is, I'll try to link it down below so you guys can check it out because it is really, really cool. Let's see. So, altar setups. We talked about offering dishes, different altar cloths. So to get an idea of something you can put on your altar, you could have, in all honesty, something that feels special to you. So whatever you find fun, whatever you find inspiring or exciting. One thing that I really like, I started watching a lot of Molly Roberts videos, and this whole thing isn't as serious as we all make it. So essentially, if you find something fun, put it on your altar. If it makes you inspired and it makes you happy and you walk by it and you kind of giggle because it's funny, absolutely put it there. If it's going to make you happy that it lives there, go for it. Another thing, your altar does not have to be fancy. My altar always has been, still currently is, a shelf on a bookshelf. I have perfectly built it into this room, and at this point it's extended probably farther beyond just one bookshelf. I have my altar and craft things essentially taking up that whole bookshelf, but one of those is my distinct display worshiping altar. So I'm trying to think what else that I could talk about as far as what you would put on an altar. Something you can have on your altar is things like representations of the elements. If there's a certain element to you that stands out, or if you just want to have little pieces of the elements present, you can certainly do that in your altar. Ways to represent, say, earth. You could have salt for purification and protection on your altar. I do Himalayan salt usually, just because it has a little bit of a different feeling to it. It's a little bit more of a spiritual cleansing to it than like a physical cleanse, which is something I really enjoy. It's just this nice little pick-me-up when I need it. It's there. You could do also for earth, you could do just a little tray of soil, or like a little offering bowl with soil in it. Having physical earth is a really good way to represent that on your altar. You could also do crystals if you're more into crystals or something like that. I like to do crystals for my earth representation, but you do have to find out what element your crystals are corresponding to. So sometimes a specific crystal will be an earth sign or a fire sign or a water sign. So if you're going to do that, For your earth, I would recommend using earth stones, obviously. For water, you could have little jars of moon water. You could have, some people do little mermaid statues. You could do just a little, you could have a chalice out, which is usually used ceremoniously, but it doesn't have to be. You could just have a chalice with some water in it. You could do cleansing waters, you could do crystal elixirs. There's a lot of fun things you can do with that. Let's see. So for fire, you could do incense. You could do, if you could find, say, pieces of lava stones. Phoenixes are usually tied to fire as well. So again, if you found like a little phoenix figure, you could put him on there for your fire correspondence. Air could be feathers. Feathers are really commonly used in Wicca, both for smudging and the different colors have different correspondences as well. So yeah, just have fun with that. If there's something you want to put on your altar, definitely go ahead and just play around. I think I am going to bring my camera over there so you guys can see my currently very hectic altar. I am currently working in it, so it is a little bit messy, but I'll try to explain what's going on over there when we get over there. Alright guys, so I'm trying to get this to zoom out enough so I can show you the whole thing. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult, but let me kind of go through what I have and we can kind of look at it together. Like I said, I am currently working in it, so I have a lot of things just kind of scattered as they are. My big cleaning will probably come in time for Samhain or Yule, which are some of the Wiccan holidays that are coming up. Alrighty, so let's take a look. So if we go to this corner, I have a couple of my goddesses here. So this one is supposed to be Demeter with her wheat. I have, oops, a little honey offering. It's just a little jar of honey. Let's see, I have a bunch of this lavender and sage incense kind of tucked back there. I have my cauldron with, I think I have herbs and things in here. So I have, let's see, it looks like I had some incense blends that I've made, some crystals I was charging, I got some petrified wood, and then some Kimbaba jasper. But I have a whole bunch of incense in there that I was burning the other day. Put the lid back on that. I have my goddesses. I have my triple goddess backflow incense here. So it goes in the top there and it comes out the bottom. I have a lot of my necklaces dangling off of her. These are mostly kind of like religious correspondences and stuff. So like mandrakes and different crystals and a little pomegranate and pentacles. I have a hagstone, some petrified wood, and then I have some offering bowls. I have crystals in here. I have a ring, my little Lakshmi. I have a bunch of little crystals and things. I have my key. I have some candy, some more crystals, things. I have another ring. I have a couple more. Usually when I have rings that I've been wearing for a while and need to recharge, they go in this one. Just so they can kind of get back to normal energy for them. Let's see. Try not to do this super shaky. I have some little amethyst skull. Let's see. I have my little Tara statue, my wand. I have my Florida water here. This is really good for cleansing and charging different things, and it smells so good. That is one of my favorite things to use right now. I have my Hecate. I have some money for her, tucked away back there. I do like to give my goddesses money. Don't ask me why. Usually just pocket change, but I'm quite fond of paying them for their help. I have a random ribbon here for some reason. I must have thought I had a good idea for that and then totally forgot to do it. So that's what that is. I have my candle from the last spell I did. Some more candy. I kind of just scatter candy on this thing sometimes, to be honest. But there you go. Sorry about my light. It keeps coming in and out for whatever reason. But we're just gonna have to go with it. I have a little spell jar and a necklace. I have some apatite that I got from one of my awesome friends. There we go. It's not looking super great in this light, but what can I say? Oh, there we go. It's super pretty. I love that one. My labradorite egg. It's like a gray labradorite, but it's super flashy on top. Whee! I have this little goddess who at the time was supposed to be me. This is when I had fully red hair, and I was a bit tanner then. Let's see. I have a goddess charm, but yeah, she's supposed to be me, but she's just very cute. I like her a lot. Oopsies. I have a little smudge I got from the fair in my town. Let's see what I have in here. Sage, yarrow, rose, and mugwort. It's really cool. I hope you guys can see that. You can see all the mugwort in it. That's really cool. I have my little guy here, my little mandrake. Oops. I have my scrying mirror, which is actually hopefully relocating soon to a different home, but more on that at a different time. I have some crystals back here, my little dragon. Oops. It's very hard to work in this. Everything is so small. I have my puzzle purse from Poison Apple Print Shop. It's one of my favorite things I have by her. I have my little pomegranate dish, which I got recently. My big orange calcite in the back there. A pumpkin candle. I have a Bridget's cross here too. And then I have my big offering jar. Got coins and crystals, all sorts of awesome things in here. Got a fish's kiss down there. Yeah, so got, I didn't even look at this one yet. I've got York, his name is York, named after the Shakespeare skull. So that is him. I have a little glass heart, my little carriage lamp, some little crystals here, my Marie Laveau ring. I have some snapdragon skulls, which are really fun to look at. They look like little skulls. Really neat. I saved the seeds from this, so I'm really excited to regrow them when it gets toasty again. But yes, so that is basically my altar. I have my little vessel in the back there. And then I just have my overflow things that it's too messy. But yeah, so that is my current altar setup. So there we go. Alright. So I hope you guys had a little bit of fun kind of looking at what kind of things you can put in your space. Something else that's kind of fun is I have a bunch of stuff hanging up here. I have some garlands with like dried leaves and things. I actually bought that like that, but you could totally make that by yourself. I have bundles of dried herbs, witches balls. I really want to do a witch ball DIY, I think around Christmas time, so that'd be kind of fun making those out of some ornaments, hanging them on the tree. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for this video. Came out a little bit longer than I was hoping, but hopefully that's okay with you guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you will tune in next time, which, if I keep on the same track, will hopefully be next Wednesday. I definitely want to try to get to a regular upload schedule, so hopefully I will see you next Wednesday in my next video. As always, if you have any ideas for what you want me to talk about next week, you can leave them down below, or I will have my Instagrams listed and you can leave me a reply at either one of those. Yeah, so I hope you guys like this video.